Hey guys, J Games here again. This is gonna be basically what if what if all the villains joined the Straw Hat crew? I mean like every single villain, I mean like the villains that I like above anyone else. Like a few examples is that I'm gonna have Dofi, Buggy, Crocodile. I'm gonna have like them join the crew, like those guys. Even though Buggy's not really a villain, more like a tiny nuisance that it's always in Luffy's ear, but yeah. So people like that, they would join the Straw Hats. Also, some people in here you may not agree to that are villains, but to me they weren't villains, but they were a big nuisance that would kind of interrupt the plot for Luffy, and they would get in his way. So my definition of villains are honestly anyone that gets in the way of the character's plot in a bad way. Like for example, a character would get in the way of how do I say this? I would actually say Sakura in the beginning of Naruto, like part one Naruto. Sakura dragged down her team significantly. I think that made her get in the way, like for the Orochimaru fight, for basically everything before the Force of Death. So Sakura's like dragged her team down, got in the way of the plot. Wasn't too bad because the story went even better to me. So yeah, but then post time skip, she got even better, and now she actually forwards the plot with the Straw Hat, not with the Straw Hats, with Team 7. So boom, yeah, this is a good example to me. But yeah, also there's like misplacements in this, so deal with that. Also, this is not a bounty-centered story. It's more like just how big and how strong can the crew be. So like I'm counting the numbers I have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28. I think I have almost 30 total Straw Hats. Baroque Works is a very big organization with a lot of good characters. So yeah. Also, Buggy's crew is not coming here besides maybe Mr. 3. That's about it. Buggy's crew is practically useless besides maybe Alvida, and I don't like her. So yeah. But yeah, so we now go on to, I would say, just Luffy's adventure, honestly. Like, it's not much different until it comes down to basically the whole Buggy thing with Nami. Like, they still beat up Buggy, but Luffy, it's not Buggy, that Buggy's actually pretty cool, and can call Buggy a bit of a goofy guy. Luffy and Buggy kind of just argue for a bit. As they argue, Buggy can help us see hear some of Luffy's words. They can give like a resonance of Roger and Shanks. Like a younger Shanks, a young and alive Roger. Like Luffy's just emanating the aura of these two. He hates that he emanates Shanks, but also hates that he feels like Roger, to the point where Buggy feels attracted to join Luffy, or at least to see how his adventure goes. Buggy inside saying, I guess I'll leave you guys in peace if I can join you on your adventure, because I need to find this treasure. And you guys can be the strongest crew in the East Blue, so how about that? I'll join you. Nami says, hell no, you're an evil pirate. He says, sure, why not? You have a big ship. He says, one thing, can we not have your crew here? And Buggy looked around saying, what crew? They left. And immediately, but Luffy saw them all the crew just trying to sail away on their dinghy. If they wouldn't take Buggy's ship, or just fear. But yeah, they left Buggy behind, leaving Kabuji as the captain. But yeah, so Buggy joined the crew, just the crew abandoning him, and Luffy actually emanating Roger, which Buggy actually followed. So yeah. Also, Buggy. Okay, so I'm gonna go over some of the ages occasionally for the villains. Buggy is 37 currently. So yeah. So Buggy's position would basically be a banker on the crew, as he does love money, like Nami. Also, just does love treasure in general. He's a pirate. Buggy would be the banker. He's also an occasional fighter, but also part of the cowards. I'll be labeling every single Straw Hat. Like Luffy, captain, and he's one of the main fighters. Zoro, vice captain, fighter, and Luffy's right hand. Then Buggy, banker, occasional fighter, and a coward. Nami, banker, navigator, coward, eyes. Eyes, because she basically sees the seas. But yeah. Next up would be Syrup Village, which isn't much different until Kuro's crew invaded. Or when Luffy kind of fell off the cliff, Buggy kind of caught him, as Buggy just spies on Luffy a lot, just because he wasn't interested in anyone in the village who kind of followed Luffy around. He caught Luffy and pulled him back up. But then when Kuro's crew invaded, Buggy faced down against Drongo, and him and Drongo fight. But it's not really gonna fight, as Buggy isn't dumb by any means, but he also isn't smart. So he can call hypnosis, but calls it a funny circus trick, and can try to copy it. He didn't do too well, but actually when he was mad, he couldn't copy it, just stabbed Drongo right in the side like 4 times, and Drongo ran away bleeding to death. So yeah. And Kuro would fight Luffy. And Luffy actually trains all with Buggy. As Buggy and Luffy can just fight a lot, and this does lead to Luffy and Buggy actually legitimately having a fist fight. So Luffy and Buggy can just fight a lot, which does lead to Luffy getting a bit of training. So he does fight Kuro, and just tell Kuro he's a lot slower than Buggy is actually. So with this, he's actually able to beat, well, Kuro. Now, Kuro does see the crew kind of just beat up his whole, like, it's basically just Luffy, Zoro, Buggy, Nami, and Usopp. These 5 people beat up a whole crew of like 40 men, and they were all in their peak condition, besides maybe him, who was a bit rusty. And still, some kid who didn't get hit once beat him, even seemed to have somewhat of a good strategy. But eventually, Luffy kind of knelt down, and well, he actually had recognized a good plan when he saw one. He actually asked Kuro, well, did you think this whole plan while you were here? And Kuro says, so what of it? He's like, huh. You notice that Nami doesn't really like any of them currently, not too much at least. He actually kind of picked up Kuro saying, you're joining my crew. And Kuro says, no, put me down, you damn brat. Says, would rather be left for the Marines. Kuro quit panicking and just says, okay. And just put his head back down like he's unconscious. And Usopp says, wait, you're letting him join? He says, do you have a better idea? Because he doesn't like us and we don't have strategies. Like, this was a complete mess. He points to Nami, Buggy, and Zoro saying, they arrived 20 minutes late. What do you expect? Like, wait, I need a strategist. This fell apart so quickly. And Usopp says, fair enough. And then Usopp doesn't like Kuro, but he allows him to join. So, yeah, Kuro joined as the strategist, the fighter, the brain, and actually the occasional teacher. Keep in mind, none of the Straw Hats, besides maybe Zoro and Nami, have education. And Zoro is still dumb. Nami's the only one with education. And she still didn't get it, and is just one of the smartest people in the East Blue, just off experience. So, yeah, Kuro's like, did you even have like teaching? And Zoro's like, I did, but it was boring, so I didn't listen. So, Kuro's like, alright, you guys are dumb, this is going to be hard for me. So, yeah, so he has to teach everyone. Usopp isn't dumb, but he's weird. That's kind of how it is. Also, Kuro's 33. But yeah, so Nabaratier. Not much difference, actually. Just when it came to Pearl attacking Sanji, Kuro moves faster than anyone can see, and as you're currently training his soldier was, Luffy actually wanted to learn it. So Kuro's training Luffy, and Luffy actually says he can see when he uses it. Kuro is just too slow, or not too slow, too rusty to actually see using this technique. So Luffy and Kuro kind of train each other with Kuro's own move. And Luffy eventually will Kuro learn how to see this technique a little bit, and then when Pearl will actually Sanji with the blow that would actually kind of crack his head open, suddenly Pearl hit the ground, blood coming out of his neck, and Kuro will kind of just back in the same spot, but had his mark on his face with a knife in his hand. And everyone asks Kuro did that. Kuro says, you're all just too slow. We know every single Straw Hat, and Gin had saw what he did. So, yeah. And Gin, by far the best fighter on Krieg's crew. Like, he may not have the highest bounty on his crew because of Krieg, but he's the best fighter by default. Krieg just has a lot of inventions in his dumb armor. And Pearl is just a brute who runs around like manhole lids, stuff with actual pearls, like a spark on fire. But yeah, Gin is by far the best fighter. So yeah. But everyone could see Kuro's realized that he disappeared around Pearl, cut his throat, and disappeared again. So yeah. Now Gin actually just fight Kuro over this, and Kuro does beat up Gin, calling Gin basically an untrained buffoon. As he doesn't really like anyone besides maybe Buggy, who's a bit taller, but they both hate the Straw Hats, but they're on their crew. But eventually, Luffy actually wants Gin to join his crew, telling Gin that he should just join them. There's no point in Gin going back to his crew, because one, Mihawk almost cut their whole ship in half. Only one left is Krieg's main ship, and that ship's in shambles. But Gin says it's still able to be sailed, and it's a lot bigger than their current ship, the Big Top. So with this, well, first Mihawk and Zoro fight, and Zoro lost, and well, he also would fight against not fight, but him and Buggy get into a small argument, or Buggy argues with him while Mihawk just gives just one worded roast. So yeah, like Mihawk won the fight without throwing hands, and Buggy kept throwing knives and shit at him, but he just dodged them all, or they just broke on impact. But yeah, but eventually they tied Krieg's flagship to, or they tied the Big Top to Krieg's flagship, and they sail all the way over to basically Arlong Park. Because Nami didn't take the ship this time. She actually is confident in this crew beating up Arlong's crew. She thinks she's not confident in them winning, but she's confident in them being equal to them. So they can kill each other, and she can take all their money. So yeah, I forgot to mention Usopp. Usopp is 17 currently, and he's also the sniper, a coward, and he's the eyes. Gin, he's 25 years old, and he's a main fighter. He doesn't really have any role besides being a main fighter. So yeah, also Sanji's the cook and Luffy's left hand. So yeah, but now on Arlong Park, Well, we see Luffy face down against Arlong, but Buggy's right next to him saying, this if you're not that careful in fights, so I'll be careful for you and to take out any fatal blows. Luffy nodded, and with this, Luffy and Buggy both fight against Arlong. Even though Luffy doesn't need Buggy, he can win the same way he did in canon, just if he isn't hit once with a blow that would like bite his arm off or anything. Buggy kind of just annoys Arlong the whole time, but eventually Buggy realized Luffy had the thing in the bag, so he walked away and let Luffy fight Arlong, getting like one bite in, and that's about it. Arlong bit Luffy once, and that's about it, but... Zoro still fought Hachi, but as him and Hachi fight, well, one, Zoro does have his wounds a bit better tended to, as Kuro's like, Jesus, this is fucking disgusting. Plus, he's been treating Kaya's sickness for years, so he has some decent doctor knowledge. It's not great, but it still helps a bit, so, yeah. Him and Nami patch up Zoro. Pause. Okay, so Zoro's wounds are a bit better tended to, so he's actually able to somewhat fight against Hachi, but Zoro just uses one sword, saying that with his current body state right now, he doesn't need more than one sword. So he fights Hachi, and really even fight that to his full potential. Kuro's fastest on the crew besides Luffy, so they all just train together. As Kuro does say that they need to train physically, and they need to be taught a lot of things. They're all pretty stupid, besides maybe Nami and Usopp. Buggy has basic education, but he's still kind of dumb in moments. But yeah, Zoro beat Hachi with only one sword. They told Hachi that if he went all out, Hachi would be dead right now. But Mihawk broke all his blades. But Hachi, with him being beaten and not as severely wounded as in canon, actually had time to like think about what happened. So as Hachi thinks, we now go on to Usopp versus Chu. Yeah, Usopp is losing this fight still, but still doing decent. But when Chu's lit on fire, pouring him in the water, well, suddenly Gin appeared right next to him, hitting the neck with the tonfa so hard that he snapped Chu's neck and killed him. So yeah, Chu's dead. Sanji and Kuro both came up against Kurubi. As when it came down to the water, like Kuro just stabbed Chu right in the back, and then not Chu, stabbed Kurubi right in the back, and just slid his claws right down his back, slowly torturing him. And then Sanji just do a barrage of fast kicks right to Kurubi's face at max force. So that's how they beat Kurubi. It's really good teamwork, honestly. But they surface again, and Luffy had finally beaten Arlong, but Nami was here fighting against a friend Fishman. And before one of the fishmen would have to land a killing blow and anyone could stop him, Hachi would pick up the fishman and slam him down on his knee, Bane style, and break his back. Hachi knows that they've wronged the village too much and that they need to leave right this instant. No one actually dares to oppose Hachi because he's a nice guy, but sure, his power's basically second to Arlong and maybe equal to Kurubi. So yeah, maybe equal to Kurubi at the best, second to Arlong. So they leave that Arlong's been beaten. Now Nami asks Hachi if he's being serious about this, and he just says, yeah, he does. He had time to reflect, and well, he wronged Nami, and she says he can put seppuku just to show her how serious he is. She had hugged Hachi, saying that he's been only the nice fishman. He was still kind of a dick, but he's the nicer one. So she actually told him no need, just apologize to the villagers, and his punishment will be left up to them. Now, basically, again, and the villagers all talk about this. It's like the doctor who's patching up Zoro, but as they all talk about this, eventually, again, it said, well, he's the only one that hasn't come here to tax us. He's actually the one that's been decent to us, like Nami had said. He's still kind of rude when he's around, but he's somewhat pleasant. The villagers all agree with this, and his punishment is joining the Straw Hats, saying, not even it's just to protect Nami out on the sea. That's his mission, which allows him to join the Straw Hat crew. Hachi, so now we go to Hachi stats. Hachi is 36 years old currently, and he's Sanji's sous chef, because Hachi owns a restaurant post-time skip. Where he owns it right after Arlong Park, all the way up to post-time skip even. So Hachi's a sous chef, fighter, and occasional helmsman. He's not bad at selling a ship, but not as good as Jinbei is. So, yeah, he's the current helmsman and sous chef. So yeah, next up would probably be Loguetown, which honestly being much different. It's just once that Smoker can't really fight against anyone. Like the one he tried to fight against Luffy, Hachi jumped in the air, grabbed him, and slammed him right into the water and held him down. Like held him above the water, like his head above the water, but just held him in place. Anyway, Hachi doesn't need to. Hachi's like, I don't need anything. I can do this all day. So, your choice. And Smoker's like, get off me, you damn fishman. But Hachi's stronger than regular human. So Smoker, but Hachi's stronger. So Smoker just held in the water with Hachi, and Hachi's hiding and covering Smoker's mouth. The smoker can't get anything out until the strats are ready to go. And Nami yelled, "Hachi, we're ready!" Hachi jumped out of the water, throwing smoker straight through a building and leaving. So, yeah. Inzoro also has 2 swords and trains with Hachi a bit more regularly now. But after this would probably be... The arcs aren't honestly much different, just Kuro and Gin both call out everyone on this island is just trying to kill us. And they actually try to trust Kuro's judgment now, even Usopp trusts him. It's like, well, Kuro doesn't really lie, that's not his thing. Well, he lied a lot, but that was for like some evil plan. There's really no evil plan for him to gain. There's really no evil plan that would allow him to gain anything here besides maybe us getting higher bounties. But we should go and fight these guys. So Luffy's bounties are the one that would be important. That's the one I'll go over most of the time. Like maybe at like the end of the time skip, I'll go over everyone's final bounties. But that's about it. At the end of the first time skip, maybe I'll go over the final bounties, and that's about probably it. But yeah. Luffy's bounty for the East Blue, roughly around 45 million, just due to his large fleet and him still being the strongest. Not the large fleet, large crew, and him still being the strongest of his crew. So yeah, like his crew currently has 3, or counting him, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. They're all pretty capable fighters in their own right. Gin compares to Sanji and Zoro. Oh, Buggy doesn't really compare to anyone, maybe because like maybe Usopp and Nami. He's also part of the coward trio. And Hachi doesn't really compare to anyone, but he's above the coward trio. But he's also not as strong as the monsters. Like, well, Kuro's in the monster, but still, he's strong. And Kuro and Hachi have like their own tier, which like they're like mid-tier fighters. Luffy, Zoro, Gin, and Sanji, they're like high tiers. The cowards are low tier. But yeah. Next up, probably just... Well, first they beat up every bounty hunter here, then Kuro's gonna just like taking some of their money, because they don't really have any money. But maybe Nami's money, and the Marine's money and Arlong's money. They have a bit of money, but they don't have that much, and like they don't have enough to fit all their needs. So, yeah. So by the time they got all the money that they need from the bounty hunters, they have roughly over 100 million berries now. As before they left the East Blue, they raided that one marine base that Nezumi led, and they completely flattened it. So yeah, it wasn't really that much an important arc. Like, Nezumi is not a strong marine by any means. Like, I would count him weaker than a basic member of Arlong's crew, and the basic member is Chu, and Usopp with his just sheer intelligence beat Chu. So yeah. So imagine what Usopp would do to a much slower, much weaker, a much dumber human. He can beat Nezumi mercilessly, and he's the weakest one on the crew besides maybe Nami. So, yeah. But yeah, so with this, Little Garden's the biggest change in the arc, as, well, Mr. 3 joined the crew in this arc. Buggy convinced him by saying, "Oh, you're a Lone Shark Galdino, right? You're pretty impressive. So are these guys, but I think you're a bit more impressive." And Buggy kind of flattered Galdino to the point where Galdino was like, "Fine, I'll join." And Galdino is Mr. 3. He's currently 35, and he's a banker and fighter, but also kind of like Buggy's right hand. So, a lot of this arc isn't much different, so, besides Mr. 3 joining. He also does apology to Dory and Bragi, and they accept it because it's a sincere apology. If you guys are wondering why he's a banker, he's a loan shark, actually. So, he's a loan shark. Drum Island, there's no bullet fired, because once there's a bullet fired, Kuro immediately just jumped and caught the bullet, and kind of saved it from scratching Vivi. And Kuro and Vivi both combined are able to somewhat convince the village, saying, "We are pirates, but we're actually escorting the princess back to Alabasta." So this adult's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am," and they let them in. So yeah, they do know Alabasta is a decent country, but aside from theirs. But yeah, Nami is sick, and in this one, Luffy, Krieg, Sanji, not Krieg, Luffy, Sanji, Kuro, and Buggy all escort Nami to the top of the drum castle. So yeah, and Luffy and Kuro and Buggy on Sanji all get there pretty quickly. Sanji just did still still get hit, and not hit, but I would say he's like the same thing happened to him as a cannon. So Kuro's the one carrying Sanji, and then Luffy actually is like, Luffy's not carrying anyone, but when he gets high enough, he'll jump in the air, then wrap his arms around Buggy and Kuro, throw them in the air, and then those two get a grip. Then Luffy just climbs up the rest of the way from where he can land. So yeah. So Buggy gets Nami up there quicker. Kuro gets Sanji up there quicker. Luffy arrives at the same time he did in canon. So yeah, and they give Luffy treatment too. But Nami says, Nami's like, "Well, well, Dr. Train's like, oh, Whoa did pretty decently, so she should be out of here in a day and a half. Sanji, maybe like a few hours, maybe like 3-4 hours. Luffy, give him like an hour, give him like a whole day to soak in warm water. He'll be good. So yeah, so like, Chopper just kind of focus on keeping Luffy's head above the water most of the time. And Buggy and Kuro get to know Chopper. They don't call it emergency food. They made a joke about it once, and that was the end of the joke. So yeah. So yeah, now with this, we can go on. It's probably just the end of the arc. Where would be the fight with Luffy and Wapol? Kuro would fight against Kuromarimo, and he has actually 2 claws now. And tells Kuromarimo that his hair, well, it's too long. He could use a haircut because Kuromarimo's weapon is his hair. So, in Edward Scissorhands fashion, Kuro appeared right behind Kuromarimo and cut all of his hair off. Not all of it. Kind of made him what's his name? Fuck. It was Mr. T. That's what I was thinking of. I didn't think I had his name right, but it was Mr. T. So yeah, so Kuro just made Kuromarimo look like Mr. T. Also, Kuromarimo's black, but yeah. But eventually, when Kuromarimo's like, my hair, it's gone, I have no weapon. Kuro just roundhouse kicked him right in the jaw, breaking it, and sending him into a full 360, calling him basically just a fool. And then Buggy is kind of fighting chess, as him and chess are basically just both idiots with a lot of long range attacks. But Buggies are a bit more effective as he stabbed chess a dozen times over, and chess is just dead. So yeah. But Luffy fought Wapol, and Wapol never got a chance to basically be stacked in power, so Luffy easily beat Wapol. So yeah, now this Chopper did their crew, and Chopper currently is 15. So yeah, he's a doctor, occasional fighter, and part of the cowardly group with Buggy. So they have the coward quartet formed. But yeah, so if you guys are wondering, Mr. 3 is a coward, he's not. He's like a main fighter because he doesn't know he has a lot of potential, but he's Buggy's right hand man, so he does sit back most of the time with him if Buggy does. So yeah, Mr. 3 just didn't come up here because it was too cold. Because his abilities wouldn't be too effective in the cold, considering it's wax, and it'd probably just get too hard too quickly, so attacks wouldn't have as much effective range. But yeah. But with this in Alabasta, well, Kuro began talking to Vivi, and they get along decently. And the point where Kuro even convinced her to join the crew, actually. So Vivi is now an official member of the Straw Hat crew. Even if the kingdom's freed, she wants to stay with them. Kuro convinced her. He doesn't know that everyone likes her. And actually, she's growing accustomed to the Straw Hat crew, and so is Buggy. So Vivi, she's now an official member. She's 16 years old. She's still with Reason, occasional fighter, and she has Karu. Also, if you guys wondering why Vivi's an occasional fighter, she was in Baroque Works for 2 years and rose up to be part of she rose past Mr. 11, Mr. 10. Her Mr. 9 are probably on equal terms, and Mr. 9 didn't seem at all impressive. So she's a pretty capable fighter. She has like these string things. I forgot what they're called, but I believe find it real quick. It was like peacock blades or something. I believe they're called peacock blades. So she has those still. But Kuro kind of helps her with her weapon, and so does Usopp. So Kuro says everyone here may not like being a fighter, but they still all fight. So you should learn how to fight too, or properly fight. And then most of this arc honestly is much different. Just when it came to Zoro versus Mr. 1, Zoro's used to fighting someone who's on Mr. 1's tier, being Kuro. Kuro and Mr. 1 are practically equals at this point with how much he trains. And Zoro just appeared behind him and cut him in half in a split second. Not in half, but cut him so he almost he felt like he still got split in half in a split second. And Zoro just said, and that was one onigiri. I have hundreds more. And Mr. 1 hit the ground unconscious. Then came to Double Finger, and well, actually in this one, Vivi came back a bit early, wanting to get on a bit of action. So a lot of her things aren't the same, but she still had a decent reach in voice. So Vivi and Nami fighting against Double Finger, and Vivi she kind of just cut her pretty good, and then Nami landed the finishing blow. So yeah. And then we go on to the next fight being Mr. 2, or Bentham. But Bentham is just joining the crew. Everyone loves him. He can't not join the Straw Hat crew. Bentham fights Sanji, and Sanji actually tells Bentham his vibe fits in perfectly with the crew, or mainly Buggy, but he actually fight Bentham, saying that Bentham should join the crew. Luffy's obviously going to meet Crocodile, so why not just join? It'll save your life. Him and Luffy we get along pretty well. Bentham says, I met him once. It wasn't too bad, I guess. I'll think about it. Consider this fight a draw. Hachi nodded, and then says he's gonna go fight other numbers. And Bentham just nodded, saying, "You do you." It's a war versus Usopp. Sometimes Mr. Four and Buggy, no, Mr. Four versus Usopp and Buggy. And these two do work in tandem pretty well. Buggy is more like his bait, but then Usopp would fight. But people actually mistake the strategy for Buggy being the bait. No, it's Usopp. Usopp would do attacks and fake missing, and then, well, with him actually being a little bit, Buggy would go in and just rapidly stab their opponent, and then, with the opponent being down from being stabbed, Usopp would launch the real attacks now, landing all of them because they can barely move. So Mr. Four is beaten by this epic teamwork, with them barely being touched. And then, we'll be going to Miss Merry Christmas, and, well, Kuro actually views Chopper as a pet, but also as an ally at the same time. So to make sure that Chopper isn't too badly hit at all, but still, these two combined do beat Miss Merry Christmas pretty easily. Chopper chased her into a hole that Kuro had actually dug, and then put it in the fashion that she would have. So the moment she had to jump out of it, Kuro just stabbed his glove straight in the ground before she emerged, and Chopper didn't see him kill her, but he knew he did. So yeah, Chopper doesn't like killing, but Kuro just says that he has no thought towards it. If they deserve it, sure, he'll kill them definitely. But he's not always going to. He'll land a bad, like a very fatal blow on you, but he won't kill you all the time. From people he's killed so far, they've all deserved it, definitely. So yeah. Then Luffy vs. Crocodile. Luffy and Crocodile are fighting, and right as Luffy, like before he launched the Gomu Gatling, Crocodile decided to place his glove out, and well, Bentham walked in, kind of pretending to be Robin. It says him and Robin kind of swapped outfits, or Robin gave him her outfit. So yeah. So he's like, Robin, what are you doing here? Wait, this is good. Help me kill Straw Hat. And suddenly, Bentham would dump water all over Crocodile and stab him right in the side, saying, "Sorry, Croco boy, but I like him more." And then he kicked Crocodile right in the face, knocking him out. And Luffy had that thing Bentham. And Bentham is officially a Straw Hat now. Bentham currently is 30. He's a fighter and great at espionage. Yeah. Bentham is also like a loyal Luffy follower as well. So yeah. But eventually, before they leave, Crocodile actually just saying, "I am not going to impel down. I still have a plan that I need to launch." Plus, he calls out one of Robin's bluff, saying he also knows that she was lying about him to Poneglyph, so he kind of knows about Pluton. So either Robin will have to kill him, or the Strauss can help him escape. He then knelt down, saying, "How about this? Join our crew." Crocodile's like, "Why the hell would I do that? You guys are a bunch of idiot kids." He says, "You can keep Baroque Works active, but you'd be demoted to like Mr. 1. Crocodile says, "What the hell is BS?" Luffy says, "Alright then, Marines," as he comes to Crocodile through the air. Crocodile then yelled, saying, Fine, I'll join." Suddenly Kuro appeared, catching him by the collar, saying, "Good, reason." Crocodile then was on the ground, and they walk away, with Mr. 1 joining them, as Mr. 1 Crocodile's kind of just pet at this point. Crocodile being now an official Straw Hat. Crocodile's 44 years old currently, and he's basically the banker and the fighter of the crew. Well, not the fighter, a banker and a fighter of the crew. Mr. 1 is currently 29, and he's a main fighter. Also, Zoro's sparring partner. So, Bentham is more like Sanji's sparring partner. They both mainly use leg attacks. Next up is Jaya. At first, I see those giant figures, and Kuro didn't have anything smart to say, and neither did Nami. They both say in tandem, "Turn around as fast as possible, please. I'm scared." And Luffy just said, not Luffy, Hachi just said, "Yep, doing that just now, just turning around," and they sail immediately far away. But yeah, on Jaya, Luffy, Bellamy, Luffy, Gin, and Zoro all head into a bar. Hachi is actually currently buying like cooking material with Sanji. So Sanji's kind of buying kitchenware, and Hachi is buying ingredients. So yeah, but in the bar, well, Bellamy doesn't start any fights. Bellamy does start a fight, but focus on beating up Luffy most of the time. Until eventually, Gin got sick of his stuff and grabbed Bellamy by the neck and began choking him out. Calling Bellamy an overconfident fool. Now, Bellamy thought this wasn't anything as he tried to pull Gin's hand off of him, but Gin's hand didn't budge an inch, and Gin squeezed harder, and Bellamy felt like his neck just snapping under this intense pain and strength. Where he yelled. He's like, not yelled, he just struggled out the words, "Help me!" And his whole crew ran full speed ahead at him. That was a really loud that was a loud noise I made, but that's kind of just what Bellamy did. Like, he tried to yell it, but yeah. I was very hesitant about doing that noise. But Bellamy's crew just ran right at them. But Zoro just did only Geary appearing right behind them, saying, "Too easy." He stood up, and Bellamy realizes he's gonna die here. Then Bellamy then had an idea. He actually just spring kick Ging right in the chest, flying right off of him. And thus Luffy and Bellamy do fight, but Luffy still knocked out Bellamy in one punch. Not knocked him, kind of just beat him one punch, as he actually thought Bellamy's fruit was really cool, and kind of told Bellamy he thought he was really cool. Even though Bellamy just beaten up Luffy moments before, well, Luffy just is doing nothing but complimenting him. Where Bellamy just gets upset at this, like he's flustered but upset. And actually asks Luffy, like, what's your motive here? You're being overly nice and everything. What's your deal? Then Luffy, like he does in usual fashion to his old current villains, he invites Bellamy to join his crew. But he's got nervous about this, but Luffy says, "Come on, I'll show you Sky Island really exists and that dreams can come true." Bellamy scoffs, saying, "If there's no Sky Island, I'm leaving the crew and I'm taking you overboard." And Luffy says, "Fine then, deal." So that Luffy held out his hand, Bellamy got up, and Bellamy is now a new member of the crew. He also made them a whole new Jolly Roger with the better fashion that everyone agreed with. So, yeah. Because you mind, Bellamy makes flags post time skip after Dothan goes defeated. But yeah, Bellamy currently is 25, and he's a main fighter and also a follower of Luffy. Pause. Okay, I'm pretty sure I left off with Bellamy agreeing to join Luffy's crew, and that he'd kick Luffy overboard if there's no actual Sky Island. But with this, they still meet Crocus. They all head to the sky. But if you're wondering how big their ship is, it's not even one ship. It is literally Krieg's ship, but fixed up. And then the Mary is tied to the, or not the Mary, the Big Top is tied to the back of it. It's literally just two ships. That's all it is. The Big Top mainly fit to the Coward group. That's kind of like their ship. Then the fighters all train on this boat, or if they want to train all together, the Cowards will come onto the Krieg ship and they all train together. But yeah. So with this, we just go on to basically the, I guess everyone in Skypiea. A lot of this isn't much different in terms of just fights. Only thing is that the fights end a lot faster than usual. Like when it came to Luffy versus Enel, or actually, we can probably go to Sanji, who's up in Nami versus Enel the first time. So it was Sanji, Nami, and Usopp. I can see Buggy, Gin, and Hachi joining in on this, as Hachi's goal is always going to protect Nami, so he's probably here just trying to protect her. But contrary to what he cooks takoyaki, and it'll turn him into takoyaki. So Hachi's defeated. Sanji is also defeated, but in this fight, with how much he trains and how much more often he fights, well, he is given basically double jump earlier and kicked Enel in the face with it, as his flames touching Enel, not his foot. So yeah. And Enel does have a broken jaw now, so when he fights Luffy, he can barely even speak. And he's already pretty worn down too. So Luffy and Enel do fight, and Enel's beaten to a pulp. So yeah. Also, Luffy's beaten everyone in his crew in a fight just to test out if he should really be captain. Like, even if he would lose, they'd hope for Luffy as captain. Maybe besides Usopp, who'd want to be captain just for the sake of it. Also, one thing, they have a lot more money coming in because Baroque is still active, but under Crocodile and actually Usopp. Because Luffy handed over to Usopp saying, "Well, you want 10,000 men, right? Here's Baroque Works." Yeah. So Crocodile and Usopp run Baroque Works. But yeah. But with this, well, we can probably go on now to basically just Enel still being defeated by Luffy. Just there's no golden ball. Luffy just has enough strength and speed to actually outspeed and outmuscle Enel. Plus, he actually can come up with strategies on the fly because he's a social chameleon surrounded by evil geniuses. Besides maybe like two guys. So yeah. Also, there's one thing I realized I forgot to explain. Vivi as a villain. Vivi is kind of a villain, but she's a villain for like maybe just Reverse Mountain and Whiskey Peak. That's about it. That's only two arcs she's a villain for, or two mini arcs she's a villain for. Like anyone who tries to kill Laboon, I'm considering a villain. And Vivi's whole job was to kill Laboon, so Vivi's a villain for that arc. But yeah, back off this, back to Skypiea. Yeah, Luffy just jacks up Enel without needing a golden ball. And then with this, we can go on to the next arc, probably being Water 7. And, well, the Big Top is not in good condition either. It's always tailing behind a much bigger ship, and this ship was already in shambles before. So, with Buggy's ship not being as good, basically says can't set on another island, and then the ship basically, then they tell this about the ship that they have from Krieg. I am positive that if this thing sails another 10 minutes, you all will sink to the bottom of the ocean. I guarantee it. Like another 10 minutes, you will all sink. So yeah, and there's no Usopp versus Luffy because they're not as emotional. And it would be Luffy versus Gin, but literally everyone on the crew, besides maybe the original East Blue group, would stop Gin in his tracks, starting to kill him if he were to try to harm Luffy. Besides maybe Buggy, but yeah. Even Mr. 3 steps up, but the biggest one for this is literally Bellamy and Bentham. Like they're threatening to murder him in the middle of Water 7 if he dares try to hit Luffy. But yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. Enel joins due to the fact that Nami's knowledge of weather impressed him. So yeah, Enel's on the crew. He's literally on the crew only for Nami. And that annoys everyone. Also, he is the assistant navigator. And currently Enel's 37. And he's also a main fighter. But yeah. Enel has an attack that can wipe out a whole island. So him on the crew would be a good asset. We don't fucking need him on the moon. Where he won't be relevant again. But yeah. But with this, well, basically everyone here kind of just chills out and Enel gets a taste of regular mortal clothing. So yeah. Now with this, we probably go on to Robin being taken, but she tells them all that if they don't turn her over like the next day or two, Eni's lobby will be burned to the ground. She's not joking; it will be burned to the ground. Luffy can order Enel to basically just Raiga Eni's lobby, and it's gone. Even Franky's with her, and he's like, "Yeah, I fought Luffy. It didn't end well. Like literally, his henchman almost killed me in seconds. He's terrifying, and importantly, he's stronger than them by leagues and margins." Also, for the Franky family didn't beat up Usopp with the fact that Mr. 3 and Crocodile are with him because they're the bankers. So, when someone tried to intimidate them, Crocodile just almost stabbed them right through the neck with a hook, but Usopp stopped him saying, "Crocoboy, there's no need for this, just don't kill him." So yeah. But they were put against Franky, and then it led Franky versus Crocodile, and Crocodile almost murdered him in the middle of the street. So, yeah. Also, Crocodile's kind of helping Enel train Logia, because Enel isn't as good at using his ability as Crocodile is. Crocodile's one of the best Logia users we've ever seen. It's a common fact at this point. But yeah, so we can go on now to probably just Eni's lobby. And Sea-Train, when they realize how slow it is compared to this one, they actually ask Enel if he can just jump in the air use lightning to just push them farther. And Enel says, yeah. So Enel will jump in the air, and immediately just collect lightning on the tracks, and just run full speed ahead at max speed, with basically the Sea-Train being pushed at lightning speeds. They arrive in Eni's lobby in like 45 seconds. So yeah, like right as the Sea-Train had docked, and Enel just stops the train in its tracks and then says, "We're here." So yeah. And Enel jumped on the Sea-Train, then held out his staff and just immediately threw it right at Lucci's face. And Lucci can't even react to this, as Lucci just nailed right in the face and sent flying halfway across Eni's lobby, bouncing on the ground, being sent flying even farther away. So yeah, Lucci's defeated with one attack. Who then jumped right in the Sea-Train, then dashed full speed ahead, straight towards Kaku, who went to check on Lucci. Before Kaku can even react too, he's kicked and punched right on top of Lucci. And 30 seconds later, all 59 is stacked up on top of Lucci, and they're all defeated. In horrible ways. So yeah, Sea Planets ended that quickly. But Usopp and Mr. 3 are actually able to calmly talk down the other two giants. I forgot their name. But they're talked down pretty easily. So with those two giants talked down, even but Mr. Godino's like, Dory and Buggy are good allies of ours too. It'd make them pretty happy if you save us in its place. They listen to that, and they've been stomping down Eni's lobby, completely destroying it. And Robin is right. Eni's lobby is in flames by the time the Starks return, and yeah, even Franky's like, I expect the Starks to arrive and win, but not Eni's lobby be in literal flames and shambles. Robin says, "I'm always right about this stuff. They're my crew." She just smiles. So yeah. So with this, they leave, heading back to Eni's lobby. Then it's Water 7. And Crocodile, if Crocodile can actually pay, can it just pay anyone who's a good shipwright besides Galley Law, tells them all to dismantle their ship, but also use a lot more ship parts to build them a ship big enough to fit hundreds of people. I don't want a damn regular ship. Give me a ship that can fit hundreds. thousands if you have enough material left. And they're like, where do you get this money from? Well, starts aren't like this, but everyone else is. I was like, have you heard of Baroque works? And immediately sometimes on a card saying, this has unlimited fucking money. I can pay for this. And immediately, the ship is just built. It took them a long time, but it's built. So with this, well, like, it took them like an extra few hours, but they had a lot more shipwrights helping them. So, yeah, the ship's all built up. Also, I'm not having anyone from CP9 join this crew at all. At the best, maybe Kaku, but I'm not going to include him because I don't want to. But yeah. Franky would join the crew, and currently Franky's 34, and he's a shipwright and a main fighter. Well, he's not a main fighter. He's like a mid-tier fighter. Like, I can go over like the roles of the main fighters. Luffy, Zoro, Kuro, Sanji, Gin, Hachan. He's not Hachan, actually. Yeah, Luffy, Zoro, Gin, Kuro, Crocodile, Bentham, Mr. One, Bellamy, and, yep, this is about the main fighters currently. And also the main fighter, the fact that he's mainly focused on, like, as, like, him and Nami work better in tandem, so if Nami's gonna attack, he's most likely gonna attack. Other than that, he's usually just being lazy, and if people hit him, they'll be electrocuted to death. Simple as that. He stands still, if they hit him, they die. Like, you've never seen from Rick and Morty where it's like Rick's like, you don't need to hit, you don't need to fight me, you don't need to follow those rules. Then the guy touches him, and like, what was that? Rick's like, death. What kind of death? Instant. Because that's like Inel's whole thing. You need to fight me. You don't need to. It's not against the law to not fight me, unless you're a Marine. Then you touch him, instant death. That's just how it works. He fries them. He fries them completely. But yeah. After this arc would probably be where they meet Brook. But Brook, it's not as weird meeting Brook considering they have a literal octopus man on their ship. They have a lightning god, and an octopus man, and a cyborg on their boat. It's not that weird to them. Also, they have like this duck thing. So, yeah. Also, their boat's still named the Sunny. So, yeah. But because they all did like Buggy ship, and they didn't know the name of Krieg ship. Like, I don't know the name of Krieg ship. They just call it the Big Sunny. So yeah. Also, with how much gold they had, Crocodile's a smooth stalker to Skypiea. The main of the Sunny is literally made of solid gold. So yeah. And with this, well, when they get in front of Triangle and they see Moria, she tells Moria that they should go in here and not Moria. He tells everyone that they should go in there and wreak havoc, just to get Brook Shadow back, because Brook's their new ally. And now is slowly learning the value of friendship, but everyone else here already learned it. So yeah. So they wreak havoc upon it. And, well, at least Zoro, Mr. One, like, basically anyone who uses a blade on the crew just beats the dog shit out of Ryuma. Well, anyone around Ryuma. Well, Zoro just straight up fights Ryuma, but everyone else just wreaks havoc around Ryuma's area. And Zoro went to attack and Ryuma in seconds. And then Ryuma handed over Shisui. So, yeah. Zoro in this one didn't like, his Uchi wasn't dusted. He honestly was just shot right in the hand, and then he dropped it. And this one ran by kicking it straight into the ocean, and then it just sank. So, just because he was off guard, he lost the sword. Zoro's hand is currently also patched up, so, yeah. Chopper's a good doctor. Yeah, so with this, basically, Zoro cut down Ryuma pretty easily. And, yeah. And we can go on to basically Moria. And I think the ones who encounter Moria first would probably be Enel and Crocodile. Those face something against like, Moria. And Crocodile says, hey, Moria, don't blame me, but you're probably not getting out of this alive. And then Isekai just basically immediately annihilate Moria and anyone around him. So yeah. Then they got oars, and Crocodile's like, Enel, don't destroy the whole corpse, but like, blow at least its limbs off. And Enel does just that, saying, sounds reasonable. As he does it and walks away. So yeah. Then we go to Luffy, who basically just finds a little group, and then he fights a new zombie around him. So yeah. And with this, well, we can now go on to, I would say, probably, well, I guess Eddie's Lobby, Thriller Bark is just not that long of an arc. It wasn't long in general, but if this should be, put into episodes, this arc is half an episode. Or maybe even one chapter. They annihilate Thriller Bark in seconds. Literally, two side characters rush in and completely annihilate Moria with no regard for his life. like Mori is on the ground, like being stabbed by a hook, electrocuted, stomped on, drop kicked. Like Mori is almost dead. But Usopp did fight against Perona with Zoro, because Zoro finished off Ryuma in seconds, literally. But yeah. But Usopp's actually able to avoid all like Perona's zombies and actually beat her. But she actually grew a bit of aspiration for these two, and with aspiration, she actually helped them beat the rest of Moria's crew. Like they leave the Baroque with Perona in tow, but all of Moria's crews, even every zombie there, is destroyed. Then after leaving Moria to escape with the help of Kuma, because Kuma was like the giant Raiga charged up, and the Raiga destroyed the Florian Triangle. How much it destroyed the Florian Triangle completely. And that Raiga sicked right upon the Baroque and destroyed it completely. Only person that didn't escape there that was important is just Hogback. He's the only one that didn't escape. So yeah. It's like the only one that didn't escape, and Chopper didn't care about that, so yeah. Now this is Sabaody. This arc is much different, it's just everyone fears Luffy's crew so much more. Because Luffy's current bounty, with how much people he has in charge of his crew, how many people he has on his crew, and just how many connections he has to basically the underworld, the literal sky world, like above the world, underworld. So many connections and allies and crewmates that are so powerful too. He's a terrifying person to the point where his bounty is over 400 million at this point. It's around 410 million. Just his numbers and his power is fearful. It's fearsome. Like Luffy, 450 million. Zoro, 100 million. And Buggy, 50 million. Yep. So I'm not gonna go over bounties too much after this, but once I announce the time skip is over, I'll pause the video and just write down a ton of bounties. Yeah, but Luffy still punched out the Celestial Dragon, but punched out the other two just because he hated them too. Then released the whole Straw crew list that they're all not that good. Like not all of them. Like only Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Buggy, Usopp, Sanji, Gin, Hachi, Vivi, Mr. 3, Chopper, Bentham, Franky, Brook, and Perona. They're the only good people, considering there's a lot less crewmates than that. So like there's more crewmates, but there's not as many as the good people on the boat. Yeah. Also, Vivi is actually working on Brook's etiquette. So Brook can just have a habit of asking about panties. And she asks, how's your day? What color are they? Not can I see them? Honestly, less people have problems answering that. Like people weird, but so and so color, and that happens occasionally to Brook. So yeah, even Vivi's helping Sanji with his etiquette, but it's not really working too well. Like it worked on Brook. Worked better on Brook because Brook is a actual gentleman. But yeah, but then Kisser and Kuma arrive, destroying everything that Stars care about. And Kuma did struggle with all of this as he had to think of it off the top of his head after he did see the whole Straw crew. But yeah, so I'm gonna go over how Straws would go. Luffy, Buggy, Hachi, they all get sent to Actually, Buggy and Hachi are arrested. Luffy's sent to Amazon Lily. Zoro, Kuro, Crocodile, Mr. 1, they're sent flying all the way over to Mihawk. Or Crocodile isn't, but everyone else is. So Zoro, Kuro, and Mr. 1 are sent flying to where Mihawk is, and then Nami, Vivi, and Nell, they all get sent up to the area. Usopp and Gin are sent to Boyne Archipelago, or Archipelago, whatever you want to say. People say it like that sometimes. Sanji and Bentham is sent to New Kama Land, or not Bentham, but Sanji is. Brook and Perona are sent to basically the same place that Brook was in canon, but when they land, Perona and Brook will both embrace like the whole like here's a devil and his mistress, it seems. And then when we came to Long Arm Tribe, Perona sent her ghost all through them, then Brook took them down in one fell swoop. So pretty easy. And then now the Long Arm Tribe is just subservient to Brook and Perona now. And Brook still got spirit abilities, but a lot better ones. The only thing is that he wasn't a rock star. He has the same everything else, just not fame. But then Robin and Mr. 3, about them, only Robin was sent to the Revolutionaries first. But then Franky and Bellamy are both sent to Karakuri Island. So yeah. Lieutenant Amazon Lily would basically find Margaret and Ethelandra. Ethelandra is the tall girl, and then Margaret, you guys know her. So yeah. So I did research on these two just to find out who they were. Every site describes them as skimpy or skanky. just because it's just how they dress, which is kind of weird to me. Like, I understand it, but also it's very weird. Every site said that. But yeah, Luffy with his convincing skills convinced Margaret to actually help him out. So Margaret helping Luffy in the shadows. Yeah, Luffy has a lot of experience bribing people. The fact that he has literal warlords under his like rule at this point. So yeah, yeah, a lot of this is honestly just Luffy can sweet talk basically anyone he wants. And when he covered up, like, just his Antonio's Celestial Dragon Scar, but yelled up to Boa saying, "There's nothing to be ashamed of. This shows that the Gorgon sisters had the right to rule through their hardships, but also through their might." This would confuse every villager, or every Kuja, like, well, yeah, they're cursed by a witch. And with Luffy's words and how they echo through the Kuja, Boa realized he was lying to her subjects, like, blatantly lying to them. And to see reason in Luffy's words. So, since the Sonya got back up, Boa, Hancock, and Marigold showed their basically the Social Dragon marks, and the Kuja all agreed Luffy's words. Not one of them disrespected the Gorgon sisters or hated them. They loved him even more for allowing children to show this off. And with this, all the Kuja now adore Luffy even more than they did before. And Luffy does get a bow, and before he leaves, he actually asks, like, "Hey, Margaret, Afalandra, do you guys want to join my crew?" They say no immediately, but Boa was like, "Actually, how about this? Since you helped me with the Kuja, and you helped me get over my pride, help me with the Kuja, made me a stronger leader and a stronger person." She looks at but Hancock just looks at Margaret and Afalandra, saying, "Join his crew, but your order from me is to always protect him." And they agreed to this. Yeah, also, I forgot to go over Perona and Brook's stats, so I'm going to go over those right now. Brook, he's currently 88, and he's a musician, part-time coward, part-time simp, and part-time fighter. Then we have Perona. She's currently 23. She's a loyal Zoro and a follower, and she's mainly used as bait. Well, when we go to Margaret and Afalandra stats. Margaret and Afalandra are both currently 16, or we assume Afalandra is. We don't know how old she is, actually. But Afalandra, if you guys don't know, she's a really tall girl that has, that's a very childish face. Yeah, Margaret and Afalandra, for the sake of it, they're both 16, because Margaret's currently actually qualified as 16 pre-time skip. So Margaret and Afalandra are both 16. They're fighters, and they're both just really Luffy simps. But Afalandra leans a bit more towards being a coward. So yeah, she's a bit less of a fighter, but does know how to fight. So yeah, and then Margaret, like this whole time being teaching Luffy hockey. Boa had Afalandra and Margaret hidden, but she says, I think that two Kuja stowed away with my loyal guards. So they're told if there's finding any Kuja on board, don't worry, they're Boa's guards, but they are stowaways, so just be careful with them. They give them food occasionally if you find them. But in secret, Boa is having Margaret train Afalandra and Luffy in observation hockey. That's the easiest form to learn without causing too much ruckus. So with this, on the way to Impel Down, Luffy's learning observation hockey with Afalandra and Margaret, but yeah. Then with this, they arrive, and they all sneak off board. And it was a bit hard for Afalandra to sneak off board, but Luffy had helped her, as he's used to giants on his boat, considering Hachi, Crocodile, Bentham, Mr. One. They're all pretty big guys, and Franky too, so he helped her hide pretty well. Then with this, and Impel Down, well, Margaret actually will quickly take down all the cameras in the room, and then quickly just knock out Domino with one attack, and then Boa just kind of turned her stone, making this even easier on them. So yeah, after this, they run down and Impel Down, bring anyone in where they can. And with this, but Luffy had found Buggy and first I said Buggy and Hachi were arrested, so Luffy found Buggy and Hachi, found Crocodile, kind of found anyone he needed in prison. Like he found Crocodile, found Hachi, found Buggy, found I would say Bentham and Mr. 3. He found all of them. They bring out Impel Down with Jinbei and Buggy's whole crew, but Luffy you guys not be a part of my crew after this, but you guys can be part of my Grand Fleet. So they agreed to that. These people who view Luffy how they view Buggy now. But yeah. So with this, well, now we go on to, I would say, just Marineford. So yeah, Now, Boa does actually have to sadly have to say that Margaret and Ephelandra are actually Kuja traitors, since those weren't her personal guards. And Margaret and Ephelandra do understand this, so does Luffy, but yeah. So with this, well, Ephelandra I'd currently say is probably at least Vice Admiral level with her knowledge of armament hockey doing so well for 16 years old. Like, I can guarantee she's learned it for years, and that's longer than some Vice Admirals. So, Margaret's kind of escorting Luffy with Ephelandra by her side. So yeah. And then, well, there's again everyone that they can surrounding Luffy and helping him get all the way to Ace. But then Luffy already identified where Mr. 3 was, as he knew who he was a bit closer. So, Bentham helped Luffy get all the way up to where... Well, you guys wondering if Bentham had been left on and impaled down like he did before? No, he escaped. Pretty easily at that. He copied Hannibal's face, and started yelling right through the back. So, yeah. Then he escaped. So, Magellan's isn't dead, but he has a giant sword in his back. But yeah, so Bentham escaped by stabbing Magellan. He barely made it to the boat. If it wasn't for Ephelandra being freakishly big, and Bentham would have been left behind. But yeah, obviously Luffy gets an Ace. Mr. 3 threw him the key, and Luffy immediately freed Ace and kicked out Sengoku's feet. It really worked out to us. Sengoku lost one leg's footing, but that didn't really matter at all. But once Ace is freed, Ace just used a giant fire fist, sending Sengoku flying off. But now we're going to take a turn to Aki Inu, where he had burned that marine alive, where Kobe and Hempel had saw it. Smoker had followed these two marines, and wondering why those two were retreating. At least saw them like kind of witness Aki Inu kill this marine. Smoker really just wondering what the fuck Sakazuki's doing, and that's what the marines were corrupt, but this is just one line too far. So he was hesitant to report this, but he'll report it after the war. Where the scrimmages as Marineford is not that long of a war. It's like 12 hours. I'm pretty sure Luffy and Katakuri's fight was longer than this war itself. So, yeah. But basically, everyone on Luffy fights, and the war once ends in a draw, really. Luffy's not caught up by Inu, as he has the basics of opposition hockey down, he just can't do it all the time. But when it counts, he can do it. He's a protagonist. I'd say it works. So, Luffy actually able to avoid Akinu's attack, and actually when Ace jumped away, Luffy grabbed Ace's pants and threw him through the air. And Ephelandra caught him, throwing him back down Akinu, and Ace just fire fisted him to the max degree, burning him through the ice. Or shooting him through the ice. And Luffy caught Ace again. So, yeah. So Akinu is then saved by another random marine. Then we go to the end of war, where Kobe trying to stop it, as all the Whitebeards are Whitebeard's last wish is basically saying, everyone, this war is not a loss or a win, it's a draw. But still, there's no reason for the war to continue. Just run. I'll fight everyone off. So they did that. And Whitebeard's last words is, Luffy says real. Then the Whitebeard pirates should always back up Straw at Luffy with how much he's helped them and his crew freed Ace. Whitebeard made a giant speech saying, Whitebeard pirates, we're a Yonko crew and we can save one of our own. But some random supernova was actually able to outperform us. This should be a lesson to you all. Always do better, and always raise your expectations of yourself and others, or not of others, but of yourself. And his last wish is basically just for them to always help Luffy, and then just say the One Piece is real, and make them believe it even more. But yeah. But with this Whitebeard still dies. Blackbeard's still got the fruit, and yeah. But as basically Kobe's after he gets fire fisted right by Aki Inu. Ace jumped in the way, but then Ace realized something else. Not Ace jumped in the way. Franky jumped in the way, blocking Aki Inu's attack. But it realized something else. Aki Inu punched right across slapped her across the face by basically a sea stone staff. And Aki Inu sent flying, bouncing across the battlefield. Smoker just yelled, "What the hell is the matter with you, Sakazuki?" And he just running right towards him. Everyone's wondering what Smoker's doing. He's just some random Commodore. Sakazuki tried to back up, only to be pinned down by the throat. With basically Smoker's just jute. And kind of almost killing Aki Inu with this, saying, "Oh, I already witnessed you kill a random marine for trying to just have a good reason to leave. I did agree with him trying to leave, but still that doesn't mean you kill him." And going to be ruthlessly beating Aki Inu with the seastone part of the staff. Aki Inu's too tired to use hockey at this point. Aki Inu's just too tired. He got beat up by Whitebeard, for God's sake. So yeah, so he's too tired to use hockey, and Smoker isn't as tired as him. He didn't fight a Yonko, so. Aki Inu was just having nothing but dog shit be out of him by Smoker. But eventually, before he's grabbed at he's saying, "Sir, you should stop." He just tore off his jacket, saying, "Screw this, I'm done with the Marines." And he yelped right over the ravine, yelling, "Straw Hat, I'm coming with you." And everyone's eyes had widened at Smoker's words. She almost cried at this, but Smoker just told Tashigi she's the new Commodore. She has his position. And then he hopes that they don't have to fight too often in the future, but he's not coming back till the Marines have a certified change. Until scum like Sakazuki is not allowed back in. He even says G5 is more civilized than him, and they're the worst Marine branch out there. And he leaves with Luffy. Leaving the new Straw Hat, past Commodore Smoker. Smoker currently is 34 years old, he's a fighter, and he also acts as occasional brains. But now we're going to go over all the Straw Hats' training and how it works. So, Luffy, Buggy, Hachi, Margaret, Aphalandra, and Smoker all train with Rayleigh and the Gorgon sisters. The Gorgon sisters focus more on Margaret, Aphalandra, and Buggy. Not really Buggy too much, I don't like him, but still they try. And, yeah. The greatest one of the Gorgon sisters are literally Boa, Tensonia, and Marigold. But Zoro, Kuro, Crocodile, Mr. 1, all train Mihawk. Crocodile followed Mihawk back saying, I want a rematch. Mr. 1 and Zoro would watch this, and so would Kuro. But Mihawk still beat Zoro. He still beat Zoro, but he beat Crocodile again. Nami, Vivi, and NL train on Wood Area. Usopp and Gin train on Bone Archipelago. Sanji and Bentham together train with the Newcomers. Wait, Paul. Yeah, Sanji and Bentham train with the Newcomers. Brook and Perona basically train the same place they did, harnessing their spirit powers and ruling over everyone on the island as king and queen, or king and princess. Robin and Mr. 3. Mr. 3 found Baltigo by accident, but he found it as they're retreating. He's been at sea like a week at this point. Or Lost Crew just helped him get away somewhere. So he's like, all sorts of training, and I'm not worthy of training with Luffy after I didn't do much in the war. Mr. 3 is going into it's self-given exile. But then he found Robin and the Marines. Robin and the revolutionaries, and he trains with them now. Then Franky and Bellamy are on Karakuri Island. I want to say Karakuri every time, but Karakuri. But yeah, now post-time skip. Yeah, and then write down some bounties. Okay, I've all shot bounties written down, post-time skip, but pre-Fishman Island. Luffy, 600 million. Just like they have two Kujo on his side that can use, one of them can use 2 forms of Haki, and the other one is just really skilled combat. Luffy's bounty is 600 million. Zoro and Sanji are tied at 190 million. They can use 2 forms of Haki currently post-time skip. Buggy is at 80 million post-time skip, and we can use observation Haki. Then Nami is at 70 million post-time skip, can use 1 form of Haki, because Maria NL is a Haki user. Usopp has 1 form of Haki as well. He also has a 68 million berry bounty. Usopp and Gin were alone, training for a really long time with Hercules as well. So they trained together for a while. So just through training together, they both ended up learning our observation Haki. Usopp 68 million and 1 form of Haki. Kuro bounty 115 million, and he has 2 forms of Haki. Gin has 100 million berry bounty and has 2 forms of Haki. It doesn't really know armament too well, but can conjure occasionally. It's like random sparks of it, or flares up of armament Haki. Hachi has a 230 million berry bounty, and he had left the Gorgon sister training to go train with Jinbei instead. So yeah. So yeah, Hachi can use armament Haki, and that's it. And he has 230 million berry bounty for his participation in Marineford. Vivi has a 0 berry bounty, and Cobra does know she joined the trust by will. He's able to keep the world government believing that she's a captive on the crew. Her bounty is 0, and just like a poster for it, but basically said wanted alive. So that's what kind of what her poster says. Then she learned observation from Enel. Vivi learned it. Mr. 3 has a bounty of 60 million and has no form of Haki. Chopper trained at the same place. He has a 90 berry bounty and has 0 forms of Haki. Bentham has a bounty of 250 million and has 2 forms of Haki. Mr. 1, he has a 90 million berry bounty and has 2 forms of Haki. Bellamy, 65 million berry bounty and has 1 form of Haki. Enel, 500 million berry bounty. I'm using this because this is reference point for bounty, like post and pre-time skip, for what Oda had said. He'd have 500 million berry bounty. That's the idea of a bounty before he even enters the new world. So that's Enel's bounty. He's second highest in the crew. So Enel has 2 forms of Haki. He'll learn armament Haki, and Gin, he says occasional flare-ups of armament Haki. So yeah. Franky has a 50 million berry bounty. Same for Brooke. Franky has armament Hachi like Bellamy does, but Brooke has a 0 berry bounty. Not 0 berry bounty. He has 0 forms of Hachi. Zero doesn't have not 0. Brooke has no Hachi at all. Then Franky has 1 form. They have the same bounty of 50 million. Prona has a 15 million berry bounty, and she has no from Hachi like Brooke. They kind of entertain the Dolford abilities, and that's about it. Then Margaret has 2 forms of Hachi. Afalandra has 2 forms of Hachi. Also, Margaret's bounty 360 million. Afalandra 80 million. Well, they both have 2 forms of Hachi. Smoker has a 310 million berry bounty and has 2 forms of Hachi. Then Robin has a 98 million berry bounty and has 1 form of Hachi. So yeah, the Solar Rock crew currently. And before Mr. 3 and Robin left, Mr. 3 actually asked Sabo if he had any words to say to Luffy, and Sabo just says, "Yeah, I'll be at Dressrosa." If he doesn't, that's probably on Luffy's track. So yeah. So you guys are wondering why Robin has Hachi, Mr. 3 doesn't. I like Robin more, and she's also obviously more powerful, and would probably want to learn Hachi even more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stars don't know Hachi out of like the 22. So that's a pretty good number. So they're all users of Hachi and near masters. So yeah. And with this, we had on the Fishman Island, where Hachi had solved the new Fishman Pirate problem by himself. In exchange, he's missing like 1 hand. Not like a whole tentacle, but like 1 hand is gone. So, yeah. A berserking Hody bit it off. But doesn't matter for him. He doesn't care. His job is protecting Nami, and nothing more. So, yeah. Now with this, we go to Punk Hazard. And here, Aki Inu and Kuzan still fought. But, yeah. So, we can probably go on now to, I would say, maybe, well, I don't see this arc being much different, honestly. Just Law, Shakshi, and Marine joining the Straw Hats. Smoker suggests that the Marines are all corrupted idiots, so he won't be a Marine until they show change. And, well, this surprised the Law, but who cares? So, yeah. We came to Caesar versus Luffy. Kuro immediately just jumped in the air like rapidly, saying, "Okay, this new technique I learned should suffice." And that he began soaring around at max speed, actually kind of just throwing a lot of Caesar's gas in the air, and Caesar can't control how fast Kuro's moving. But still thought Luffy actually read Hakuto right in the chest, seeing him flying through Punk Hazard. So yeah, or across Punk Hazard, not through it. Punk Hazard isn't the building; it's the island. But yeah, Caesar's defeated. Also, Virgo would fight a Smoker, and when him and Smoker fight, Smoker actually beat Virgo. He has a few wounds, and that's about it. But he still beat Virgo. Now with this, we go past this arc now onto Dressrosa. Actually, and Mr. 3 still gave Luffy he gave Luffy the message from Sabo. Luffy's actually happy to hear that he's alive. Robin even brought him like Sabo's bounty poster to prove that Sabo's actually alive. So yeah. Luffy's shocked that the Sabo's bounty and his bounty are so close, but yeah. Now with this, we should go on to, I would say, Dressrosa being that much hard of an arc for the Straw Hats. Yeah, it's not that hard of an arc. They're all users of Hachi. Most of them are near masters of Hachi. Luffy and Smoker can both use advanced observation. So, yeah. But, yeah, so throughout this arc, honestly, it's a one-sided slaughter. Like, when it came to Baby 5, even and her versus Sai, that didn't happen. It was Baby 5 versus Afalandra, and Afalandra was just one chapter. So, yeah. Then when it came down to Sugar, yeah, her. When it came down to her and the toys, his pronoun just can send a ghost through her, and then immediately the Achilles oil cancels out, and she says, "I'm nothing but a useless child. I should just stop." She cancels out all the Delford abilities. Pronoun and Brooke just high five at that, and yeah, then Brooke heads to the ship with Pronoun following him, as that's what they wanted to do. Just got all the toys real quick as they learned how to do it, then did it, then they leave. Then Usopp ties up Sugar, then hangs her from a ceiling. So she's just stuck there, and she's like 10 years old physically. Chronologically, she's like 22, but yeah. So she's on strung from the ceiling, and with how small she is, no one can actually reach her. So. Yeah. And yeah, then we came to Jola. Nami didn't even hesitate to literally just dodge over attacks with observation and then just one tapper. That's all it took. Also, when Jola tried to get back up, Vivi just rapidly sliced her. Also, if you guys I didn't say this, Karu was on with the area of Vivi as Vivi was riding Karu, hoping to escape and call for help. But no, Kuma was too fast and just slapped her and Karu. But yeah, Karu was on with area. So yeah. Vivi being rapidly slicing a Jola with her peacock strings or peacock blades. But then eventually, Vivi in the air as Karu fired off basically just this new technology that was added onto his saddle, and basically just a lot of compressed air, which just defeats Jola completely. And Bellamy versus Dellinger. When Dellinger got close, but Bellamy just one tapped him, saying that the fight was a little too easy. So yeah. Franky versus Senior Pink. Actually, I'm just going down some fights in order. Now these fights aren't all happening at the same time. Some of them are, but not all of them are. I'm just kind of going through the fights at random. Luffy versus Dofi. Luffy just slams. Disrespectfully, he just slams Dofi with no regard for his health at all. Like Luffy is a user of event observation, like Smoker is too. Smoker just doesn't have a good armor haki like Luffy does though. But yeah, Dofi's just defeated without Luffy needing Gear 4th. Zoro fight Pika, but then when it came to like finding over Pika, and well, first we cut Pika in half, and now we'll just use one lightning bolt to blow apart Pika, and then blow apart the lightning bolts. Not lightning bolts, I mean blow apart the rubble, and then Crocodile and Mr. One just destroy any bit of rubble that's heading towards the ground. Also, when the character was closing in, Crocodile had stronger haki than Dofi, so he could just hook and just maximum amount of haki and swung a giant slash, cutting up the birdcage. Crocodile and Dofi are virtually equal. Just Crocodile's better at armor haki. That's about it. So yeah, so Crocodile cut apart the birdcage. Then also Zoro with one attack found the real Pika and then just cut him down completely. So yeah. We can probably have Buggy fight Lao G. I can find the fight being pretty amusing. Buggy wins, but barely. He's like, why are old men so strong? He thinks like Rayleigh, and that's about it. So yeah. Also, Buggy has armament haki, so yeah. Nami had fought Jola, and she escaped. Usopp had actually, well, he fought Trouble. He fought Trouble and won. Trouble isn't too strong, actually. Kuro and Usopp teamed up on Treble. Treble's defeated. Gin had just fought anyone random. I can say you see Gin and Hyodine fighting Mach Vice. Like Mach Vice like 10-ton crush. Just Gin up in the air, yelling Gungear as he just imitates just Hyodine and just comes to something armor haki and just completely just knocks out Mach Vice. Then Hyodine punched him straight into the birdcage before it was destroyed. So yeah. Then Hachi, he kind of just fought anyone random, really. He wasn't really fighting anyone important at all. But he's mainly around Nami until he saw like she was sailing away and he followed the Big Sunny. Vivi was with Nami beating up Jola, Mr. 3. Kind of fighting anyone that was near him that was a bad guy. Same as Robin. Well, usually Robin and Usopp were with the Tontadas. Chopper, whatever he did in Kanon, he did this time. Bentham was honestly just fighting the fake Doflamingo and completely abusing the fake Doflamingo with just not even using his arms, just one leg, completely abusing the clone Dofi. Mr. One was doing what Crocodile was doing, and Crocodile was doing crocodile things by just destroying Pika. Also, I forgot to say Crocodile's bounty. His bounty is currently 130 million. So yeah, his current bounty. But yeah, so Mr. One and Crocodile both destroy a bit of Pika. Both just destroyed a bit. Not destroy. Destroyed. Bellamy beat up Dellinger. And Nell helped out Zoro with Pika. Franky fought Senior Pink still. Prona and Brooke defeated Sugar and canceled out all the toys and left. Margaret just honestly sniped at Dofi occasionally, hitting him like the arm or the leg. And then Aphalandra just beat up Baby 5. And Smoker would just kind of just had like these handcuffs that he had, and then arrested anyone in the vicinity that was part of Delflingo's crew. And Robin just did the same thing she did in canon, which ends most of this arc. So yeah. After this, we go on to the next thing, being, I would say, probably maybe, Zoe. But I'm just arguing much different, and so when Sanji does leave, he kind of tells him, you know, this wedding should get on the road, really, because if my captain finds out that I was taken here by, well, by Zeph being threatened, our whole crew will burn Germa and Whole Cake Island to the ground, regardless of who rules so and so kingdom. But before we get into the basic closing of this One Piece What If, I'm gonna end this part here actually. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe for more. Adios.